Today I'm joined by Aseel, my fantastic colleague who recruits into the senior HR space, an absolute recruitment guru.
You're too kind.
For all things creative, media, digital, and funnily enough, you actually have a background in retail and retail operations, which I think gives you a really unique take and approach on the topic that we're going to discuss today.
We wanted to have a conversation today about the increase in HR operations roles that we're seeing in the market and the intersectionality between operations and systems. Never before has it been more important for an organisation to achieve their strategic goals by having the right people in place from a systems and operations perspective.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think together we could probably say that we're working on so many mandates in a kind of joint collaborative way that are my recruitment speciality, which is HR technology and HR data, but also your specialism, which is HR operations. And it's kind of either a kind of head of HR operations who has oversight of a system and the data perspective, or a HR systems specialist who is covering the kind of HR operations workflow from kind of, hire to retire. What kind of trends do you think you're seeing in that space and over the next kind of couple of years? How do you think that's going to transform?
I'm seeing a lot of organisations kind of upgrading the skill set they've got within their businesses from a data and operations perspective. I think having a keen eye looking holistically over the entire operations remit has never been more important. But I'm also seeing, yes, we collect data, yes, we interrogate data, but actually, how do you make data sexy for business leaders who might not necessarily, work that much with data or traditionally see the value in data-driven decision-making, who have kind of worked their whole careers and made quite intuitive decisions. And actually, this move into more data and informed decision making is a bit of a shift for those individuals. So it's quite a nuance that these HR operations leaders have. It's quite a big task that they've got ahead of them.
Yeah, and I think it kind of starts at the top. It starts with C-suite. It's that really kind of enthusiastic, data-driven, data-happy, we kind of call it, CEO or CFO or CHRO, who prioritizes data from the very get-go. From the top there, then it kind of trickles down into the rest of the business. Because as we're seeing data-driven decision-making, yes, it's zeros and ones on a kind of system, but what it ends up being and translating to is a happy workforce. You think of engagement surveys, you think of performance reviews, you think of bonuses. All of that stuff starts, when you think about it, on the system. And it's from the top that you've got that enthusiastic person and then the HR team who have that person's ear that can kind of drive that decision through, starting with the system and the technology, actually translating into something that's real and tangible, and the employee experience and the employee happiness is reliant on that system and data, and ultimately the professionals who take care of it.
Yeah, and let's unpack that a bit, because I guess on the flip side, what upsets employees the most is inconsistent decision making, that kind of whole, this person got this person got that kind of almost favoritism, kind of ad hoc decision making that occurs still in some organizations. And that can really, really demotivate your workforce really, really quickly, because it just feels like things are inconsistent. And once you've got the data and you've got the tools to collect that data, that's when you can really start making those consistent and informed decisions. And that is how you motivate people. That's all most people just want consistency, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think kind of in line with that, it is that move. I think both of our networks are moving towards the kind of insights-focused style of role. So for a while, it has just been about HR data or HR reporting, but there's been a big trend, an upwards trend moving towards HR insights versus just reporting and just data, which I guess is that kind of move towards storytelling and actionable insights. And yes, you do a report, yes, you take the data, but once you've seen that and it's in front of you, you put it into a visual format, and then you tell a story about that data, literally on a page, and present that to your stakeholders and bring it to life and kind of put that human touch into the data. I think we both saw that article about the current HR systems net worth or market worth being about 40 billion as we speak in 2025. and over the next 7 years, it's projected to reach 80 billion, which is basically doubling over 7 years across the globe, which is really telling about where systems are going. And I think we're moving towards systems being not just a nice to have or an electronic filing cabinet like they used to be with passports on them, but more towards a real kind of meaningful an essential part of a business's future.
Yeah, and I think it's been amazing watching your personal trajectory. You know, you specialize in HR systems from a recruitment perspective. You've never been busier. Your specialist skill set has never been in more demand, because I think that's a service that you can offer clients where you are the subject matter expert and you do have a handle on the market and you can explain, you know, this is what the market's telling us, this is what I'm seeing in the market. And I think it's been really awesome for me personally to see your trajectory and how busy you've been and how quickly you've earned that reputation as a subject matter expert in the market.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's kind of just being about really interested in the thing that you recruit for, a bit like yourself with the media and digital and tech space. You know, I'm just really interested in hearing from systems professionals across all levels about what they're currently doing, what they're enjoying, what wakes them up in the morning, and what gets them to the work. I guess my question for you would be to both of our networks who might be watching this now, you know, if there's a HR operations professional or HR systems professional out there that just kind of wants to hear about the market, you know, just reach out to you and have that chat.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for today. It's been really fun having this chat.
Yeah, thanks for joining.